Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your July 2021 reading. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs for a more well-rounded perspective. And there are also links in the description box below if you are interested in a more personal, individualized reading. All right, let's go ahead and begin. The first card that we have here is the Bouquet. And this really has to do with celebration, but it's connected with intimate connections, things that we celebrate. So there's generalized celebrations that we participate in throughout the year. You know, a very casual celebration that comes to mind would be something like maybe a coworker has a birthday, and so there's cake and ice cream in the break room for everybody to take part in. This sort of connection that I'm talking about here, that's represented in the banquet and you're reading right now, the energy that I'm coming from is a bit more intimate. So it's more of celebrating maybe a birthday of someone that you're close to, but it feels even more than that. It's kind of along the line of anniversary sort of celebration, a connection, anniversary date. Like that is definitely something that's coming through, but anniversary date does not have to be specific with someone you are married to. It can be the anniversary of something. So the first thing that's coming to mind now is that an example would be maybe you have gone through a huge spiritual transformation and you are coming up on an anniversary of when that happened for you, when you changed your perspective and you started a new life path, a new spiritual path, something that was big for you, a change for you. The anniversary of that is coming up. And for a great bit of you, you are experiencing it in July. But for some of you, there's an awareness that you're coming up on the anniversary. And then because of that, it's sort of creating this narrative about really becoming reminiscent of the things that led up to this change or transformation, which created this anniversary date that you're going to be experiencing at some point in the near future, not necessarily in July. So some of you, let's put it this way, some of you are going to experience the actual anniversary date in the month of July, but some of you are going to experience those things that come with when you become aware of, oh yeah, that anniversary is coming up. And then you get a bit reflective of the changes that were a result of this transformation that you had experienced, this change that you experienced, this event that created this anniversary date. But anniversary date is huge, and it has to do with huge change in your life. And you're just going to be the energy of being reflective on what that has meant in the bigger picture for your life as a whole over the last year or over the last years, depending upon how long ago this anniversary initiation date exists. All right, so we follow that with tell the truth. I feel like this is a call to be honest with yourself. For some of you, it is tied to this anniversary date. So I feel like the first thing that comes to mind is that there's a bit of a blurring of the lines regarding when the actual anniversary or when the actual initiation of this experience occurred. And some of you, it has to do with trying to make it seem longer than it actually is. And you're being told to be honest with yourself. And they're not really being very clear as to why you need to be honest, but there's something to be gained from on a spiritual level as far as a personal spiritual expansion when we're totally honest with ourselves as far as this experience and what it means and how it defines ourselves in our practice. So however that resonates, however that applies, there is an importance to being honest with yourself regarding this journey and when your personal initiation regarding this anniversary date is. And that's all they're giving me. So if you need more, this is something that you need to sit in space and have a conversation, commune with your higher self or your deities or your ancestors, whatever it is that you connect with on a regular basis and commune with on a regular basis for clarity on these things. you're being told to have a conversation with them, because there's something that you are blurring the lines when you're contemplating this, and they're wanting you to stop blurring the lines on this. And it's going to help with creating a more definitive anniversary date, but as a whole, it's also going to have a domino or a rippling effect as far as your spiritual journey and where you're going to be headed in the future in your spiritual life path. What you want to focus on for the month, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is really kind of honing your craft, taking it to the next level. For some of you, it has to do with your spiritual gifts. There's something that you are, you have the potential of expanding from where you are right now, which is why that honesty is important. It's going to be hard to expand on this when your foundation is blurred, when your foundation isn't completely clear and with absolute clarity. Some of you, it is also to do with work. There is potential in your field to level up, but in order to do that, there is some additional training or research that you need to participate in. So that it's something that you're going to have to be self-motivated to do. It's not so much that your workplace is going to tell you. It's not so much that it's something that someone in your workplace is going to advise you or guide you. It's something that you're just going to have to initiate on your own. You're just going to have to see this gap in your training. And I don't use that term loosely because I don't want to say that you're lacking in any way, but you can level up if you added this research or training to your resume, but you have to see it. No one's going to tell you you could get this position or you could go further if you get this. It's something that you're just going to have to see on your own. But by seeing it and then taking the initiative and following through with leveling up in this skill set and this training and this research, whatever the case may be, how it applies to you, you're going to be seen as a result of it. You're going to be noticed. Your dedication and your passion and your drive and your ability to self-initiate is going to be recognized. And as a result of that, there's going to be opportunities in the future for you. So take that however you will. What you want to do, we have the Page of Swords, and it's really asking you to, this has to do with thought process. Swords has to do with communication, and communication comes in different forms. And I'm being told that this is directly in connection with the narrative in your head, the narrative that the dialogue that you have with yourself, be it yourself when you just have a conversation with yourself, or yourself as far as having a conversation with your higher self. Both of those apply. So however that resonates, take it. But what you need to do, what you need to focus on is really taking root in something that you already know. So there's something that there's a point of reference, some sort of training or understanding that you have already come to terms with, and you've already sort of solidified and it's already become part of your thought process. But it could use a little bit of tweaking and refining, and you can kind of add to that. You need to recognize what's already been presented and then build upon that. That's what you're supposed to be recognizing. So it's something that's fairly new. It's not in its infancy, but it's still fairly new enough that it still needs nurtured to take it to the next level. It still needs a little bit of attention to take it to the next level. This is what the page stands for. So the difference between the one in tarot versus the page is that one is when it is in its infancy. It is when it's presented to you. Page is more of when that thing has been cultivated and taken root, but it's still new. It's the difference between a baby who is brand new and just born versus a baby that's a year old. They're not new anymore, but they still need a lot of attention. They still need a lot of care. There's still a very childlike innocence, naivety, or just newness to it. This is what the page is representing. So it's something that is not in its infancy, but it's still new enough that it needs a little bit more care and nurturing. It needs a little bit more mothering. It needs that figure of someone who can give it the attention and guidance. So there is a thing that you have already learned or have become aware of. It's already grown to the point of it's able to take care of itself to some degree, but it still needs attention. And you're being asked to give it the attention it needs to continue to nurture it. And I feel that this is tethered to this thing about how you can level up. Those of you who it applies in a spiritual perspective, as well, those of you who it applies to on as far as your job is concerned. There's something that has been presented. It has grown past infancy, but still needs coddling, nurtured, and needs tended to. And you're being told to focus on, attend to it, and continue to help it to grow as you move through the month of July. And I'm being told to reference again and be honest with yourself in that process as you are cultivating it. Continue to be honest with yourself. You'll make more room and space for you to grow if you're honest with yourself in the process. And I'm being told to be open to constructive criticism. So if someone is giving you the point of view, be discerning as to whether or not are they being constructive or are they being destructive. Even if the criticism is a bit hurtful, because sometimes it can be just in general. Take a step back and look at their perspective and try to decipher, are they telling you what they're telling you because they are trying to block you or trying to destroy your expansion? Or are they telling you this because they're trying to get you to see it from their perspective, their point of view, and it is actually beneficial? Be honest with yourself. That's where that concept of be honest with yourself is coming into play, because there's room for growth as a result of this. There's something that you have been building towards and you can level up. If you're honest with yourself, it creates space for the leveling up. What you don't want to do, Ace of Pentacles, don't start anything new regarding this. So whatever this applies to, how this resonates in your life right now through the month of July, don't detract from that and start something new. And don't scrap it and think that you need to go from a new perspective. There's a difference. They're trying to decipher the difference between being honest with yourself so that you take on a point of view that allows you to continue in the trajectory that you are, but tweak it so that it works better for you, versus just scrapping everything that you've already built and worked for and starting completely from new. There are things that you have been doing and are working on that works, and it is exactly how it's supposed to be, but it needs to be refined and tweaked, not scrapped and start new. So that's what the Ace of Pentacles is talking about. They don't want you to start from scratch. They want you to refine and tweak what you already have going for you, because you're on the right path. Their trajectory is correct. There's just a few things that need adjusted here and there, and that's where the request for honesty comes into play. If you're honest with yourself in this process, you can see the areas that need to be tweaked and refined, and that's what they want you to focus on. All right, that is all I have for you, Taurus. I hope July ends up being bountiful for you and starts to really get you into solid footing. Again, if you would like to get a more well-rounded perspective, be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising sign readings. And if you would like something personal, there are links in the description box below. Other than that, have a wonderful month of July, and hopefully I will see you in a future video.